Shalom, everyone. This is Shaina Yisrael. This is another edition of our Shabbat class. We thank you all for joining us this afternoon. For those that are in the listening audience, all around YouTube and the internet, we thank you for joining us today. We are completing our law class that we were having. We're in the last part of the law class, which is the punishment part. And then once we complete that, we will go back to our supernatural class like we always have on the Shabbat. I thank you all for joining us today. It's very important, that we get this information in so that everyone knows what was a part of the law, what is still a part of the law that we have to follow as much as possible. I'm gonna use my receiver because I was on speaker, but I want to make sure that you guys, can you guys see the screen? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. It's called the law of punishment. Now, this is very important because this was a part of the law that the Most High used to punish the children of Israel for not following his orders. And there are different kinds of punishment that the Most High used for the children of Israel, and we're going to cover as much of that as we can today. I wanted to leave a space open because I know we have guests on the line today, and we wanted to be able to give them an opportunity to ask any kind of questions that they wanted. We're so excited to have you with us today, and really looking forward to coming together and reasoning together. It's a privilege, to have you on the call today. Okay, so it says the law of punishment. It says punishment, the infliction of some kind of pain or loss upon a person for a misdeed, the transgression of a law or command. So we got that from Britannica.com. And so we're going to go to the death penalty. This was a part of our law. When I say our law, the law that was given unto Moshe by the Most High on Mount Sinai, that there were certain penalties that covered certain laws that we broke. So, because last week we were talking about being cut off, and some people thought that being cut off meant that you were dead. But, when I started to research it, it did not mean that. It meant being cut off. So I wanted to kind of clarify the difference between the two. So Leviticus chapter 20, this is where it talks about the death penalty. And this is very important because under grace, with the grace that we have, these things don't apply right now because the Most High has given us grace to be able to know who we are, for our identity to be restored, for us to understand why we're here. When I say here, in the land of our captivity, and I keep saying that over and over again because most people don't believe it. It hasn't sunk in yet that we are living in the land of our captivity. What do I mean by that? I mean that our ancestors came here by force. We were slaves here, and this is not our original location. This is not where we were originally from. We were brought to this place, which means that now that this generation has been birthed and we have opened up our eyes, we have opened up our eyes in the land of our captivity. So by being in this captivity, we are under grace, which allows us to not be put to death for some of the things that is happening now, because by grace, we have an opportunity to change our ways. Okay, so we go into Leviticus chapter 20, verse 1. It says, "And the Most High spake unto Moshe, saying," he said, "Again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the stranger that sojourneth Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Moloch, he shall surely be put to death. And the people of the land shall stone him with stones." He said, "And I will set my face against that man, and will cut him off from among his people, because he has given of his seed to Moloch to defile my sanctuary and to profane my holy name." Can somebody tell me what it meant to give your children over to Moloch, and please give detail? Hello?
Well, I can't give detail, but it was a sacrifice.
Okay, what kind of sacrifice? What did they do?
They burned them.
Passing our children through the fire.
Thank you. Thank you. So they were passing their children through the fire. They were actually burning their children alive. And this was the sacrifice that was given unto this God. Are they still doing that today?
They certainly are.
They certainly are doing it, aren't they? Can you give me an idea of what I'm talking about? Where are they doing it at?
Yeah, I can't recall.
I can't hear you. You sound really far away. We saw something called the Bohemian Grove, didn't we?
Yeah.
And what were they doing? They were passing the child through the fire. It was supposed to be an image of a child, but it was still nevertheless a child that they were actually setting on fire to sacrifice to this gigantic owl. And everybody was there. The people of great stature were there. Presidents were there. Popes were there. Very astute businessmen were there. They are still practicing this today. As we speak. Here we go. He said, verse 4, he said, and if the people of the land do any ways hide their face from the man which giveth of his seed unto Moloch, and kill him not. Now watch what the Most High said. He said, for the spectators that act like you don't see it, and you know what he's doing, and you don't kill him, he said, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off. And all that go a-whoring after him to commit whoredom to Moloch from among their people. So you couldn't even ignore it. If you saw it and it was being done, he expected you to hand out the death penalty and to kill this person for doing this. He says, and the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits, and after wizards to go a-whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul and will cut him off from among his people. Are we still doing that today? Hello?
Yes.
You know what? I'm getting mad at y'all. I want you to know that because you know this class is not quiet. I'm telling you. Absolutely we are. Because we doing witchcraft, we doing tarot cards, we reading the horoscope. What else they doing now?
That's true.
Say again?
Abortion clinic.
Yeah, that's an abortion clinic. That's right.
Yeah. All of these things are being done today. All of this stuff is being done today as a people because what? We adopt these kind of things when we come into the land. These are the things that are done that happen when we come into the land of this captivity.
The same thing that'll happen now, they say it happened then. It's nothing new under the sun. So it's
absolutely.
It's a repeat.
That's absolutely it is. Watch, here we go. He said, verse 7, sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy, for I am the Most High, your Elohim. And keep my statutes and do them. I am the Most High, which sanctify you. For everyone that curses, his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. Some of us would already been gone. These are the death penalty issues that the Most High put out for the children of Israel. Mm-hmm. He did this for us, so that we know what was the purpose for giving us these statutes and laws. Somebody tell me what was the purpose for it?
It was to establish kingdom, so that we would know what the rules were and how we were to live before the Father.
Absolutely. So. Somebody has told me that the laws are done away with, that there's no need for the law. How do you feel about that?
Well, if the law was done away with, then we will have no order, and people do whatever they want. So we have to have an example and an order that we can't follow, or else, like I said, every man for himself, and that would be a terrible thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if he gave this to the children of Israel, he said, these are the laws that I give to you. This is how I want you to govern yourself before me. This is what I want you to do. Somebody else?
It would also distinguish us from the other nations.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to get to that because that's definitely something that we have to go into to understand that he separated us from the other nations unto himself. Because we are the lot of his inheritance. So he separated Israel away from everyone else so that he could give us his laws, statutes, and commandments and say, live in these.
Shalom. This is Adoniah. If I may add something to that. The laws was given to Hebrew Israelites, Israel, at the Mount Sinai at Horeb, so that we could govern our lives, so that we could live and not die. Because if you do those laws, if you read those laws, those are set aside for us to understand what it takes for us to live, you understand, on a daily basis, you understand, and the other nations will see how we governing ourselves, and they will follow suit, you understand. But it's not going to happen in these days and times. I want y'all to understand that from my perspective.
Right. Okay. I got you, understand. And I do. I believe everything that you're saying because we live in a society now where we're governed by laws and statutes.
Mm-hmm.
We do. Because where there's no law, there is no order. You have to have a law. So in order for us to be able to function in this society, they write laws to say this is what you can do and this is what you can't do. This has been all over the news all week today about the law, about detaining families from children, and we've heard many of our so-called government leaders say this is the law. We are protecting the law, and we're doing what the law tells us we have to do. Well, this is exactly what the Most High is doing here. He's giving us a law to govern ourselves.
Right.
So if you curse your mother or your father, you're put to death. Now, can we do that here where we're living now?
Absolutely not.
No, why not?
Because we're governed by the laws of this land. You understand? We don't have a leg to stand on when we talk about doing our laws. You understand? So they're not going to allow us to do that. They haven't allowed us to do it since we've been here. We can't do that in this land anyway. We have to do our law in our land. You understand? That's
okay. Now, can we do some of the laws? I mean, we can do the ceremonial laws, right? We can do the high holy days.
Well, the only laws that I found that we cannot do, you understand, is the laws that pertain to the temple. And because we have to have a priest in order, and we have to have a temple. You understand? Other than that, you understand, I think that we could, because it says that Pesach, you understand, is an annual law that we can do, because we do that in the house. You understand? A number of other little laws that we have that's set aside for us that we can do here in this land here.
Okay, all right. Anybody else?
We can do the dietary laws.
Oh, we can do the dietary laws.
Yeah.
Which means, what does that mean when you say dietary laws? What does that pertain to?
What we eat.
Right, what we can and cannot eat, clean and unclean, right?
Absolutely.
And I want to say this here is because, that these laws and what we eat, you understand, is not what we produce. You understand? They got GMOs, you understand, in everything that we eat. Right now, they found out that we eat a lot of hamburger. You know what they put on hamburger? Bacon, you understand, which is unclean. You understand? So, it's a difficult. See, if we could do our laws here, then there would be no need for us to go back into our land. You understand? We can't do these things right here, but we have to find out what we can do and what we cannot do. And once we find out that those laws are working against us, you understand? Then we recognize that this law this land is not ours. Hallelujah.
All right. All right, let's go. Here we go. He says, he has cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him. So you're not allowed to go after your mother or father or to curse them in any way. In our land, you would be put to death. He says, verse 10, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. These are death penalty laws in our land that when we get back there, we will live again. Okay, here we go. He said, watch here, verse 11. He said, and the man that lieth with his father's wife hath uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Say again?
Judah, this is you. And who's this?
I can't hear you.
Oh.
All right, so we go into verse 12. He said, and if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. This is death penalty. They have wrought confusion, their blood shall be upon them. Verse 13, if a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination, they shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Now, this is a big controversy now, because guess what? Here, they passed a law to say that's legal.
Right. And we live now in the day like we never lived before, you know. We got, homosexuality and all this gay stuff is just going crazy, you know. And it's not tolerated in our land, so.
No, but because we're living in the land of our captivity under another government that is governing us in this land, we're actually living among our enemies. The Bible says that I'm going to put you in the land among your enemies, and he said, and that's where you're going to be. So we are watching them pass laws that we know are contradictory to the Most High's laws.
That's right. And even though they use our book, they've made their own Bible. So now they have a homosexual Bible, and they kind of like altered that scripture.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't matter whether they make their own Bible. It really doesn't matter at this point, because the Most High is the same. He says, I'm the same. I never change. This is what he believes in. This is what he means. Now, can we put someone to death because they're committing homosexuality in this land?
No, we can't.
No.
No, we can't.
Because these are the laws that they passed to govern the people that live in this land. It's real simple. I mean, when it's like when your eyes are open, it just becomes really, really plain and simple. It's not hard to understand. But it doesn't give us the go-ahead or the right to be able to do it because they pass a law.
And Sister, you know, a lot of those laws, because we are in our land of captivity, and because they are the ones that make the laws, they know about our laws. They know about our Creator. They know. So they know these things that He's not allowing us to do. So every time we think that we go ahead of something, they're going to go and create a law to keep us back, to hold us back. You know, that they make laws. So they always want to stay a jump in ahead of us. And because we can't do nothing here, once they create a law, we have to live by the law because we're in this land still. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
we don't have to do that. But
say again?
The mark of the beast is going to be a law, too.
Oh, real soon. Absolutely. It's coming real soon. But just like we were saying the other week, it's not so much that they came up under the civil rights law saying that their civil rights was being violated and that they were being ostracized and mistreated because of their sexual orientation. It's not so much of that. It's now they are implementing it into school systems and teaching 4-year-olds that is normal.
Wow.
So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And we have to then, what do we have to do? We have to bring our children home and deprogram our children and put into our children that these are not normal. This is the law that the Most High gave to the children of Israel, that this is how I want you to live. Watch. 14. He said, and if a man take a wife and her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burned with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you. So ain't no threesomes going on. You can't do none of that, especially with a man, his wife, and his mother. Completely off. Now, watch what he says. If a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death, and ye shall slay the beast. What did we study last about 3 Sabbaths ago about bestiality? And everybody went and Googled their state where they live to see whether it was a felony or a misdemeanor. And most of the time it was a misdemeanor. Some of it's been allowed. We don't sleep with animals. We don't have sex with animals. The Most High said absolutely not. You're going to kill him and the beast. And you guys can do it if you like. I know we call in from all over the country, all over the world. Just Google it and see if bestiality is a law or if it is against the law in whatever state you're in. Google it and see. You'll find out. They have a whole chart of where it's legal at.
Right.
Legal. He said, and if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. So he's covering the male and the female, so there is no misunderstanding about what this is all about. But people are doing it in these lands. They're doing it now, aren't they?
They're doing it. It's a shame.
Say again?
I said yes, and it's a shame.
It is. It's terrible. It really is terrible, but guess what? He said we're going to get to that point because he says in the scripture, these are how these people live. I don't want you to do what they do. He separates us from them. You're not to live like that. You're not to be common with those people. You're not to be able to have the same. You're completely different from them because I have separated you unto myself. Now, some people would think that that's being racist, but it's not, or that we are feeling like we're exclusive. But the Most High made us exclusive. He said, "You're my people, and this is how I want you to live."
I'd like to say 2 things. One is that we are in a struggle between good and evil. A lot of times what's being done, our laws are being put in place that will actually, if we follow them, cause us to violate the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. And so in the land of our captivity, we are obligated to follow the law to the best of our ability as long as it doesn't violate what it is that Yah has set in place. And so when we look at these things, one of the things that's being discussed right now is people keep talking about the rule of law, the rule of law. I want people to follow the rule of law. And you can have unjust laws. Just because a law is in place doesn't mean that it's a righteous law. And yet we should adhere to the law simply because it's been put in place by a corrupt man or a corrupt system. And yet when Yah set these laws in place and he told us how he wanted us to live, a way for us to live where we would have peace and safety, we would be righteous, and we would be able to deal with each other in a moral way. And we wouldn't have to watch our back and wonder if we were going to be sabotaged or if somebody was going to violate someone in our family. And there are clear laws set out so that when Israel first came into being, it was literate. It was safe. The stranger liked to dwell among us because they knew that if anything happened, there was going to be a swift and clear way that was going to be dealt with. And we knew what was required of us. But more than that, it allowed us to actually live righteously before the Father. But in this land, if we follow some of these laws, we will actually do the thing that he says we should not do.
We should not do.
There's a battle that's going on right now. And they're trying to, like you said, indoctrinate the kids so that they will be raised up to not, they said, no, because I see it in my own family where children think that it's perfectly acceptable to do many things, to engage in all kinds of behaviors that says you shouldn't engage in, and yet they've been taught that, you know what, they're just people. There's nothing wrong with them. Love who you want. Do what
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, they will argue and argue. Sometimes argue to the point where people just kind of stop talking, just kind of let it die down, because that is the way that the society is going, and it's becoming more and more and more harsh in its stand.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate that. Go ahead. Somebody else?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question. Me and my sister were once in a church, and of course they had the flag there. We were visiting, and everybody stood up and said Pledge of Allegiance and all that. And I'm used to that in government places and public places and at the ballpark. But it made us really uncomfortable to be there. And of course we didn't pledge allegiance. We just stood up. But is that a form of idolatry in some measure?
Yes, ma'am. We are not to pledge allegiance to anything but the Most High. Mm-hmm. The children of Israel aren't. You know, so that's going to be an issue. Even I were thinking about the NBA players and the NFL players and all those guys that are taking a knee. You know, when you look at that, and the Most High says that we are not to pledge allegiance to anyone but Him. You know what I'm saying? And do those things that are pertaining to Him, that's a problem. So you did right in not doing that. You know, I never do. I tell my children don't do it. But I was telling them that way before I came into the knowledge of who we were. Mm-hmm. But absolutely. You know, because
it is idolatry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because you're pledging. You know, look that up. That right there is like you really committing yourself to something. You know.
That's commandment number one.
Mm-hmm.
Have no other doubt.
So we can't do it. You know what I mean? And the thing is that when you start to take a stand as to who we are and what we're not supposed to do, because we are separate from all the other people on the earth. Right. He has separated us to be His people. And these are the things that He told us not to do. And when it comes, like she said, they're passing laws that is teaching our children that it's okay to do these things and to say. It's just like when I went to court. He says, do you raise your right hand, would you solemnly swear? I said, I can't do that. I can affirm, but I'm not going to swear.
Oh.
And he looked at me like, oh, she knows.
I went through the same thing. So I do understand.
You know what I'm saying? So they expect us to know, but if you don't know and you say it if you say you swear, they realize you really don't know who you are. And I stopped him right there. I can't swear, but I can affirm. I won't do that.
Yep, that's what I told a judge.
No. So yes, I agree. We can't do that. Absolutely not. So we have to program our children when they come home, and we have to put the fear of Yah in them to let them know, no, that is incorrect, because there are punishments that is coming behind this kind of stuff, just like eating pork. I mean, like she said about the dietary law. Well, you got scriptures in the New Testament that say all you got to do is bless it and you can eat it, but you can't bless what the Most High has deemed unclean. And then you go back to Isaiah chapter 66, where it tells you that when He comes back, He's going to kill those people that's eating swine flesh.
And grace does not absolve that.
No. So, like I said, when we start to understand these, when your eyes become open, you get a different understanding. You're like, oh, okay, I understand now. Mm-hmm. So let me keep moving, because this is really getting good. Hold on, here we go. It says, they shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them. Now, we're talking about the woman that approaches a beast. So bestiality is not allowed with females or males within our land. It said, and if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and she see his, it is a wicked thing, and they shall be cut off in the sight of their people. He have uncovered his sister's nakedness, he shall bear his iniquity. Watch. And if a man shall lie with a woman having her sickness, and shall uncover her nakedness, he has discovered her fountain, and she has uncovered the fountain of her blood, and both of them shall be cut off. So there's no sex during the menstrual periods. None of that. It's unclean. Most High covers it all. He leaves nothing, but we've been taught, that the bed is undefiled between a man and a woman. So we've been taught. It says, that thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, nor thy father's sister. That's your aunt. For he have uncovered his near kin, they shall bear their iniquity. And if a man lie with his uncle's wife, he has uncovered his uncle's nakedness. They shall bear their sin, they shall die childless. It says, if a man shall take his brother's wife, it is an unclean thing. He has uncovered his brother's nakedness, they shall be childless. It says, ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them, that the land, whether I bring you to dwell therein, spew you not out. And ye shall not walk in the manner. This is what he said. This is verse 23. And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you. For they committed all these things, and therefore I abhor them. What does abhor mean?
It means
hate. He hate them. Mm-hmm. So then does he love the people that do the homosexuality?
No.
No, he doesn't.
No.
The people that lay with animals?
He abhors them.
No.
He said, I hate them.
They hate him because they don't keep his commandments.
They don't even, but you know what? You can't expect them to do that because they don't know him. They don't. We're going to get to that too. We're going to cover that in a minute. He says, but I have said unto you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it. A land that floweth with milk and honey. I am the Most High, your Elohim, which have separated you from other people.
Right.
It says, ye shall therefore put a difference between clean beasts and unclean, and between unclean fowl and clean. And ye shall not make your souls abominable by beasts, or by fowl, or by any manner of living thing that creepeth on the ground, which I have separated from you as unclean. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Most High, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine.
Mm-hmm.
A man also or a woman that have a familiar spirit, or that is a wizard, shall be put to death. There is no witchcraft, it's not allowed. Somebody tell me where witchcraft came from, and how did it originate, and who brought it?
The fallen angels.
The fallen angels brought it. And who did they teach it to, Brother Jalen?
They taught it to the Canaanite women.
The Canaanite women. They gave it to the women. The women, their wives, the women they chose for wives. They taught it. Angel theology is what we call it. It's angelic witchcraft.
Right.
Not allowed. Crystal ball, palm reading, tarot cards, all that's not allowed.
Down where?
Anything.
You don't need to be working on the Shabbat.
You know? Somebody put your phone on mute for me, please. One moment. Here we go. It says, they shall stone them with stones, their blood shall be upon them. Watch. Okay, any other questions? Any questions at all whatsoever about the death penalty? Because these are the things that is a part of the judgmental law that you are to be put to death for, which we know we cannot do because we're not under our own government, but we are living in the land of our captivity, and these particular laws have definitely been suspended because of where we are. You cannot do them. Anybody have any questions about that? No. Okay, let's see. Move on. Numbers chapter 15. We're at Numbers 15:32. And here we go. And it says, we have one more. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks upon the Sabbath day. 33. And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moshe and Aaron, and said unto all the congregation, and they put him in ward because it was not declared what should be done unto him. And the Most High said unto Moshe, that man shall surely be put to death. Shall be surely put to death. And all the congregation shall stone him with stones without the camp. And all the congregation brought him without the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died, as the Most High commanded Moshe. Any questions?
That's rough.
He's very precise, exactly what he requires of us. He's very precise on it.
No. Now, some people have to work on the Sabbath day. We understand that. We're in the land of our captivity. We're not in our own land. Some people have to work on the Sabbath day. You have nurses that work on Saturday. You have people that have to work. The Most High understand. He knows where we are. He put us here. And that's the thing that we have to remind ourselves, that He put us here. Now, if you can and you don't have to do it, don't work on the Sabbath.
See, this is what it means by rethinking yourself in the land of your captivity. When it comes to your attention, you understand, you need to try to make some preparations on not working on the Sabbath day. That is a no-no in the eyes of the Almighty.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it says for the children of Israel. And we talking about for the children of Israel and the stranger that dwells among them.
And, I was looking at that when it said he was gathering sticks, and it just came to my mind that perhaps he was gathering sticks to make a fire. So it was like I'm just guessing that his intentions were more than just to gather sticks. He was going to put that towards doing work, which he knew was unlawful.
Absolutely. And these are the things that when we get home and when we get into our own land, we will not be doing.
Right.
The one thing that I see, that I'm realizing too, is that we can't set no precedents outside of the law. See, that if they had to let him live, then what happens is that everybody will be able to do that. All they have to do is take whatever punishment is endeavored. Working on the Shabbat is not a thing that is all right not to do. You have to rethink yourself and see if you can get out of that situation as best you possibly can. I know it's a difficult task because some of us got them civil jobs, man. They're getting nice money, you understand, but they got to work on the Shabbat, you understand? So but one thing that I'm understanding here also is that this is the latter days. We got 14 more months, you understand, before our punishment is up. Once our punishment is up, then we're going to see some drastic changes.
Absolutely. And then when you say that, Brother Donnie, you have people on this line that are new. Then we have guests on the line that may not understand what you're saying. When you say 14 months and our punishment is up, what do you mean?
That the Almighty gave us 400 years in this captivity. He told Abraham in Genesis, I think it's Genesis 15:13, understand that he was going to that we were going to be in a captive state and we will serve these people for 400 years. They just signed the proclamation in Congress, or in the Trump and them, the sign says that we came here in 1619. So when we get to 2019, that's the 400 years, and they recognize that in this society here.
All right. So we're 14 months away from fulfilling the sentence that the Most High gave unto Abraham in Genesis chapter 15. Now, we know what the New Testament say. The New Testament say it was Egypt. But we have debunked that, just like a lot of the Hebrew Israelite teachers say that it was Egypt. But we have debunked that 3 ways going Sunday. Couldn't be that. They were not captive. They were not afflicted for 400 years.
Absolutely.
Because the most of the time that they were there, Joseph was alive, and they were friends of Pharaoh's brought down into Goshen. So it was not that. And we have a whole teaching on that for you all that are interested. You can go to our YouTube channel, which is Yehudah Project, and just type in 400 years, and it's a whole lesson that we teach on there to show you where that's debunked. We have been afflicted since we came here day one. And we still being afflicted.
Oh, yeah. Still in captivity.
And we still, you're going to say that again, sis. And we still in captivity. You see what they're doing to them immigrants that's coming over here from Mexico. Can you imagine if 1 million of us decided we want to go somewhere else? That would be an international catastrophe. 1 million Negroes getting ready to leave America? Oh, my goodness. Everybody, it'll be a UN issue, an international issue, a EU issue. Everybody will have, where they going? Where's them people going?
Where you going?
This is when you'll realize you still in captivity, because they'll get your butt right back here.
Right. So that wall is for two reasons, to keep them in and keep them out.
That's the truth. That is so true. You better believe it. It's easy about people say, well, we live in other countries. Yeah, it's about when it's only 1,000 of y'all being scattered all over the world, living in different countries. But let 1 million of us get ready to leave and go somewhere.
Okay, they be just like Pharaoh. When they realize, hey, you let these people go, we must be crazy, and they come after him. They gonna come after us. Hey, wait a minute, they built everything for us. They took care of us.
Yeah, that's our money. Where they going?
Exactly.
We live off of. They coming back.
That's right. They'll come back and get you and let you know you better, like Pharaoh said, you better get back to work. What you mean, God? I'm God. Get back to work.
Go to the movie and see that new pimp movie that they made out. They said that pimp movie was a flop.
I bet.
I'm not surprised.
I bet. Everybody on all that mess no more. We done seen that. We live that every day. We see that in our neighborhoods. Ain't nobody going to pay no money to see that mess. I told my kids, I don't pay money to see stuff I'm living. I already know what it is. What's the point? Let a bunch of us get ready. Let's let a bunch of Israelites that know they Hebrew Israelites, that the Most High has opened up their eyes to understand who they are. Let them know. Let us tell them who we are, and we get ready to leave and see what they say.
Yeah.
Boy.
The alarming for them, so that we can't leave. What you're saying is we can't leave until Yah makes a way for us.
That is correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's when you realize you're still in captivity. You just try it and see what happened. You just try it and see. What was the guy's name who tried it and got the boats here? I always forget his name.
Marcus Garvey.
Marcus Garvey. You see what they did to him, don't you? They locked him up on a technicality through the, the mail fraud. They got him on mail, a technicality. Stopped all. Well, it was some of us that did leave, though.
Where'd they go? To Liberia? Or I forget where the place is that he was trying to get the people to go.
Liberia.
Liberia.
Yeah. So they did go. They still, they did. They left. They went back home. We are not from here. We are originally from the Middle East, what they call the Middle East.
They cold.
But they're suffering in Liberia, too. They're still
they're suffering. We spoke, what that says, Jalen? That the curse is still the curse.
Mm-hmm.
You just change location.
That's the thing. See, when we leave here, you understand, we have to be governed by ourselves. We have to govern ourselves. We can't go from one society and be in another society, and we're governed by those people of that society. We have to govern ourselves. That's the difference from when people start. Well, I'm leaving. I'm going here. I'm going to Ghana. I'm going blah blah blah. You understand what I'm saying? You're under somebody else's governance. Period.
Still. Sure is. So, okay, now we're at Numbers chapter 5. Here we are, Numbers chapter 5, verse 11. We're still in the judgmental law. It says, Numbers chapter 5, verse 11. It says, And the Most High spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, If any man's wife go aside, and commit a trespass against him, and a man lie with her carnally, and it be hid from the eyes of her husband, and be kept closed, and she be defiled, and there be no witness against her, neither she be taken with the manner, and the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be defiled. Watch what it says. Or if the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be not defiled, then shall the man bring his wife unto the priest, and he shall bring her offering for her, and the 10th part of an ephod of barley meal, and he shall pour no oil upon it, nor put frankincense thereon. For it is an offering of jealousy, an offering of memorial, bringing iniquity to remembrance. And the priest shall bring her near and set her before the Most High. And the priest shall take holy water, listen what he going to do, in an earthen vessel, and of the dust that is in the floor of the tabernacle, that the priest shall take it and put it into the water. And the priest shall set the woman before the Most High and uncover the woman's head and put the offering of the memorial in her hand, which is the jealousy offering. And the priest shall have in his hand bitter water that causes the curse.
What is that?
And the priest shall charge her by an oath and say unto the woman, if no man has lain with thee, and if thou hast not gone aside to uncleanness with another instead of thy husband, be thou free from this bitter water that causeth the curse. But if thou hast gone aside to another instead of thy husband, and if thou be defiled, and some man has lain with thee beside thy husband, then the priest shall charge the woman with an oath of cursing, and the priest shall say unto the woman, the Lord make thee a curse and an oath among thy people, when the Most High doeth make it thy thigh to rot and thy belly to swell. And this is the water that causes the curse, shall go into thy bowel, and shall make thy belly to swell, and thy thigh to rot. And the woman shall say, Amen, Amen. And the priest shall write these curses in a book, and he shall blot them out with bitter water. And he shall cause the woman to drink the bitter water that causes the curse. And the water that causes the curse shall enter into her and become bitter. Then the priest shall take the jealousy offering out of the woman's hand, and shall wave the offering before the Most High, and offer it upon the altar. And the priest shall take a handful of the offering, even the memorial thereof, and burn it upon the altar, and afterwards shall cause the woman to drink the water. And when he has made her to drink the water, then it shall come to pass that if she be defiled, and have done trespass against her husband, that the water that causes the curse shall enter into her and become bitter, and her belly shall swell, and her thighs shall rot, and the woman shall be accursed among her people. Watch what it says. It says, and if the woman be not defiled, but be clean, then she shall be free and shall conceive seed. This is the law of jealousies, when a wife goes aside to another instead of her husband and is defiled. Any questions?
Yeah, you got some background noise there.
I don't know who that is, but can you please put your phone on mute? Her thigh will rot off.
I got a
like
question.
Brother Donald said, he said it ain't got to be but one time. That's got to happen once. It should anyway. Yes, sir. What's the question?
My question is that when a woman she's not makes her husband jealous, you understand, because some women, you understand, like to keep their husband on a tight leash, you understand, and do a little making her husband jealous. Does that apply in any way?
Well, if she hasn't laid with anybody, then, I don't think nothing's going to happen to her. But I'm sure that if she just jesting with him and trying to make him jealous, she probably would straighten all that out before she went through all this. Because I wouldn't be drinking no dust off no floor just to make nobody jealous.
But the husband, you understand, is going to bring her before the priest.
Yeah, if it gets to that point, yeah, she's got to still come.
Now, does that mean he just thinks that she committed adultery, or does it mean that he was just jealous about her?
Well, she made him feel that right by the things that she was doing and the things that she would say, or however, she made him feel made him jealous. You understand?
Right. So if it wasn't true and she has not laid with another man, then nothing will happen to her. Right. But but look at the humiliation that she would have to go through just to make him jealous.
That's a lot.
Sure is. I wouldn't do it. No, not for that.
A lot of women that want to see her husband toe the mark.
Yeah, but who want to go through that humiliation, though?
That's true.
Well,
this gives light why the Most High cast us out the land and why he was so mad at us, because nobody was upholding any righteousness. Because these are the things that should have been happening, but the leadership wasn't doing them.
That's true. You know, it says in that prayer that we used to read, or I read every day, you understand, that we forgot our precepts and our judgments. That means that we overlooked things that went down. So a lot of our brothers and sisters didn't get no punishment for the things that they would do because we overlooked them. We didn't put in those judgments that were supposed to uphold the law.
That's true. Brother Joanne, you got your fan on?
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Sister Aina, there's a question in the chat.
Yes.
On this topic. A guest asked, is this the same symbolic jealousy offering Moses gave to those who worshipped the golden calf when he turned it into powder and they drank up the waters and then he died?
I don't know if that's the same one. I mean, but he did grind the golden calf into powder, and they drank it. Yeah, they did definitely do that. I think this is for a husband and a wife. So I think this is specifically curtailed to them. Now, when he did that, he definitely cursed them. Their belly was cursed because they drank the golden calf through a straw. Yeah.
I got another question. Does the same law apply for women? I want to reject that question because a man can have another wife. A woman can't have another husband.
Right. Okay, so we're going to move into the penalty of being cut off. We're almost done. This is Leviticus chapter 17, verse 1. It says say again?
Where does it say that a man can have another wife?
Oh, that's a whole nother. We have to get into that. But we'll get into that, sis. That's a whole nother teaching. Let me say this. It was allowed.
Yes.
I mean, Jacob was tricked, of course. He was actually supposed to be with Rachel, but Laban tricked him, and he ended up with Leah first. And then after he did that, then he had Rachel. And, then he was laid with Rachel, so he ended up with two.
For the people who don't believe in the Messiah.
Say again, sis, I'm sorry?
Those must be for the people who don't believe in the Messiah. The Messiah had said something regarding that was not allowed. Must be the non-Messianic people.
No, not necessarily. There are a lot of Israelite men that have have more than one wife, and I've seen Messianic and non-Messianics have more than one wife. It says, but the wife has to be willing to do that. It's not a law, but the Most High allowed it. It's not a law. Now, I think in order to be a bishop, you have to be the husband of one wife. You can't have more than one. And see, the church played that into you can't be divorced and you can't have more than one wife. But the Most High did allow that to happen, and they just allowed it. I mean, look at what Sarah did with Hagar. She did that. Didn't nobody do that but her. She didn't believe in the Most High with what he said, so she let Hagar go in and lay with Abraham. And then Ishmael came as a result of it.
Right.
No?
He wasn't against David and Solomon and everybody else that had multiple wives either.
That's right. That's right. And even Jacob, he slept with their handmaids and brought forth children.
And you don't get about King Daoud.
Oh, my goodness. He was off the hook, for real.
Yes,
Solomon was, too. I still don't believe that man had that many women. He wouldn't be able to survive all them women. He
told him that he was going to turn his heart away from him. Those women, he told them.
Yeah, he did. But he did anyway, though, didn't he?
But they were not Israelite women. That's what the problem came in. He was messing with all types of strange women.
That's correct. But I still think that those numbers were inflated. You understand?
I do too. All right, let's get back to the lesson because we're going to finish up. I want to open up the the talks for questions for the guests that are on the line. All right, Leviticus 17. And the Most High spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons and to all the children of Israel, and say unto them, the Most High has commanded, saying, What man soever there be of the house of Israel that killeth an ox, or lamb, or goat in the camp, or that killeth it out of the camp, and bring it not unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation to offer an offering unto the Most High before the tabernacle of the Most High, blood shall be imputed unto the man. He has shed blood, and that man shall be cut off from among his people. Verse 5. To the end that the children of Israel may bring their sacrifices which they offer in the open field, even that they may bring them unto the Most High, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest, and offer them for peace offering unto Yah. And the priest shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar of the Most High at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and burn the fat for a sweet savor unto Yah. And they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto devils, after whom they have gone a-whoring. This shall be a statute forever unto them throughout their generations. And thou shalt say unto them, Whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the stranger which sojourn among you, that offer a burnt offering or a sacrifice, and bring it not unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation to offer it unto the Most High, even that man shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever man there be of the house of Israel, or of the stranger that sojourn among you, that eateth any manner of blood, I will even set my face against that soul that eateth blood, and will cut him off from among his people. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your soul. So we know we're not supposed to eat blood of any kind. Who used to eat bloody steaks before you knew?
Asian. Okay. What was the
Me?
question?
I said I used to love a bloody steak before I knew. I didn't know.
Excuse me. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I had one too, but it was not that I wanted one. My order was messed up, and when I've been into it, it was the worst thing ever. It literally tasted like death to me.
How bad?
Then it just went downhill from there, and the guy got my order mixed up with somebody else, and it was to me. I mean, to each his own, but to me, it just tastes horrible.
Well, you're not supposed to do it. That's against the Most High's law.
I didn't. It wasn't something I wanted. It was a mix-up in the order.
Okay.
This is before I even knew. I just knew it had a horrible taste to it.
I know some people and some pastors that eat it like that. And they say they love a bloody steak. I'm going to eat it the way I eat it. And it's like, hey, you got these are the things that the Most High says don't do. And these are the things that we have been taught have been done away with, that you can do it now. So, when you look at these things, and he said, under no circumstances, he said, for the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls. He said, for it is the blood that maketh atonement under no circumstances. He says, so therefore I say unto the children of Israel, no soul of you shall eat blood, neither shall any stranger that sojourn among you eat blood. And whatsoever man there be of the children of Israel, or of the stranger that sojourn among you, which hunteth and catcheth any beast or fowl that may be eaten, he shall even pour out the blood thereof and cover it with dust. For it is the life of all flesh. The blood of it is for the life thereof. Therefore I said unto the children of Israel, ye shall eat the blood of no manner of flesh. For the life of all flesh is in the blood thereof. Whosoever eateth it shall be cut off.
Okay, I have a question now.
Yes, ma'am.
During the what they call the sacrament, the Lord's Supper thing that we do, where we take the cracker and then the juice as a symbol of the blood that Christ shed, does that contradict this in some way?
Not in any way. And that's a whole other lesson. We going into that. We're actually on our way to the New Testament, but not in any way.
Okay.
But I'll definitely answer that because that comes up a lot among the Israelites. Well, wait a minute, that can't be true because he wants you to drink his blood. Not in any way, and I'll cover that for you when we get to that point. Let me finish this, and then we'll go there. Okay? All right, here we go. He says, every soul that eateth that which dieth of itself, or that which was torn with beasts, whether it be one of your own country or a stranger, he shall both wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean unto the even. Then shall he be clean. But if he wash them not, nor bathe his flesh, then he shall bear his iniquity. But the soul that eateth of the flesh of the sacrifice of peace offering that pertaineth unto the Most High, having his uncleanness upon him, even that soul shall be cut off from people. Moreover, the soul that shall touch any unclean thing, as the uncleanness of man, or any unclean beast, or any abominable unclean thing, and eat of the flesh of the sacrifice of the peace offering, which pertaineth unto the Most High, even that soul shall be cut off from among his people. And the Most High spake unto Moshe, saying, verse 23, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, Ye shall eat no manner of fat, of ox, or of sheep, or of goat, and the fat of the beast that dieth of itself, and the fat of that which is torn with beasts, may be used in any other use, but ye shall in no wise eat of it. For whosoever eateth the fat of the beast, of which men offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High, even the soul that eateth it shall be cut off from his people. Any questions?
The fat after it's been offered to the Most High.
Yes.
So that mean that we can't eat any meat with fat, or just certain kinds of meat?
Let me go back again. Let's read it again. Ready? He says, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, Ye shall eat no manner of fat, of ox, or of sheep, or of goat, and the fat of beast that dieth of itself, and the fat of that which is torn with beast, may be used in any other use, but ye shall in no wise eat of it. For whosoever eateth the fat of the beast, of which men offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High, even the soul that eateth shall be cut off from among his people.
So it's only those animals?
So the context of what you just read is beasts that have been destroyed or killed by animals. If you go back to the top, that is the context of what you're talking about.
I saw it.
That's the context. He's talking about carcasses and beasts that have been slayed and stuff like that. Don't eat it.
Or offer for a burnt offering, you cannot eat that fat.
Right. Now,
and that's the best part of the meat.
That's including roadkill?
Yeah, roadkill. You can't eat that.
That was, I'm trying to get the chapter. Was that Leviticus? Was that 20?
No, we're in the book of Numbers, I think. Hold on, let me make sure. Leah, I'm sorry, Leviticus chapter 7.
But we should eat chicken fat, right? As long as it's been...
Oh, my goodness. Everybody want to know what...
It says you can't eat no fat, period.
No fat? Oh, man.
Well,
that's the best part, too. It is.
It is.
I thought
that.
Well, my understanding was it was just the fat that had been offered as sacrifice.
Sacrifice
or fat that's... or carcass, right, something that's been slain or animals have slain each other. Right?
Okay, let's think about it like this. We know that the offering that's being offered is for the priest, right? One for the Most High and one for the priest. So why would he tell us not to eat something from those offerings? There's only two offerings, one for the priest, one for the Most High. So he can't be talking about the offering that's being offered. He has to be talking about the fat for your own self, from your own animal. Does that make sense?
I have a question. Oh, go ahead. I'm thinking it's just from the offering and the beast of slain, but it's for like...
the priests and the Levites are the only ones that can eat the offering that's being offered. One goes to the Most High. No, hear me out for a second. you bring an offering, 2 offerings, one for the priest, one for the Most High. And the priest offers one for himself, for his sin, then he offers one to the Most High. The Most High licks that up, whatever, he burns it up, however you want to say it. Now there's no more offering. So how can you eat from something that doesn't exist? He's talking about your own animal or the dead animals that you see on the side of the road or one of your own animals that died. So he's telling you don't eat the fat thereof. We can't focus on the offering because we don't eat the offering. The Levites do.
Right.
That's true.
So don't eat the fat off of of course not dead carcasses or anything like that, but don't, if you were to raise, let's say a goat. I don't even know if they have that, but let's say for the sake, if you have a goat and you, I guess, get it butchered or prepared for a regular meal, you are still not supposed to eat the fat from that. I'm asking.
That's what he's saying.
No fat from no animal, period.
Okay.
And that's the best part. Oh my gosh. When I was like, oh my Lord, I can't eat. Oh my gosh, that's the best part. Wait, and he said, even the soul that eateth it shall be cut off from his people.
Okay, I have another question.
Yes, man, I don't like that.
Does butter even include in it? I'm sorry, I'm serious. Is butter included?
No, butter comes from milk.
Yeah, it comes from the cream. It's not made out of fat.
I think it's lard
is if you lose
lard is
lard, yeah.
Yeah, lard made of butter is fat.
Okay.
Well, is butter fat?
The ones I eat is not. I don't know how you guys make it, but the ones I'm eating is not made out of fat. Unless somebody knows something that I don't know. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
All right, verse 26, he said, moreover, you shall eat no manner of blood, whether it be a fowl of a beast, in any of your dwellings. Whatsoever soul it be that eateth any manner of blood, even the soul shall be cut off from his people. 7 days. Okay, here we go. So this is Exodus chapter 12, and this is talking about still being cut off. It says, 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread, even the first day shall ye put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth unleavened bread from the first day unto the 7th, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. Well, I think that don't eat it, I think it's supposed to say, because you're supposed to eat it. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. So when we have our own land, even when the strangers are there, they have to follow our law, just like we have to follow these laws as long as they don't break the law of the Most High. They have to. Try not to file your taxes and see what happens.
Can I say? One of the things I think about is just like with the eating of pork, there's something called trichinosis. There's a tapeworm. And also, I was reading a book, and one of the things that somebody said was, they said, they were looking for the body of someone, and they said, well, you don't have to worry about that because we have pigs. So the pigs had eaten the person. So the pigs are indiscriminate in what they eat. They'll eat anything. And then it's the same thing when I think about the fat. They say a lot of the toxins reside in the fat. And I know, for me, when I think about the laws that Yah has put in place, they make sense because often when you talk about not eating shrimp, they're eating the sediment off the bottom where all of the toxins and stuff go, and you're getting all of that crap that they've ingested into their systems. So he's telling us not to do this. But all of the things he does have purpose. And to me, they often have reasons that are pretty obvious when you think about them. So I love fat, and that didn't make me happy either.
Me neither.
But when I think about it, I'm thinking, okay, I knew that toxins would concentrate in the fat. So he's telling us to do things that, even though we don't understand the rationale behind it, it still makes sense. And so when we find out it's a reinforcement for what he has already said, but the idea is that if you obey, you'll be preserved from these things, whether you understand or not. The same thing living in an orderly society. I was listening to someone online today, and they were talking about a lot of the horrible things that happen in black communities. You have black people preying on other black people. But if we were going by these laws, statutes, and commandments, you'd kind of stuff and you'd be gone.
That's true.
You couldn't. people and go in and rob people and do. No, we would have a very safe, orderly. You could leave your doors open because it would not happen. So these laws, when we go back into our land and we live according to what he says, it's not going to be a hard thing to do. It's going to be a great thing to do because we will be able to walk down the street in safety. We will be able to live in our homes in safety. We will be able to deal with each other in love because if we don't, we're gone.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And that's why he's not having no unrighteousness is going back into Jerusalem when we go back in. And for you all that are new to the call, we just want to let you know that our goal is we're headed back toward we're going into the wilderness. And then once we go into the wilderness, there will be a certain specific cut, and those people who make the cut will go into Jerusalem. And there will be no unrighteousness when we go in there. This is going to be the time where it won't be any of that. So, this is what we're preparing for. We know the church taught us about the rapture and that we were going to be raptured off and we was going into heaven. That is not going to happen. That's not going to happen. We're going into the wilderness now. I believe that there will be a period where there will be a catching away, but he's coming right to this earth.
Right.
Well, another reason, too, why this righteousness is going to be in the land is because he's going to take away the adversary, the people who continue to bring unrighteousness and who our forefathers kept following after. If we would have obeyed him in the wilderness, and this is going to sound mean, but he told us to do it, and we didn't do it, and to drive them out and totally put them away, some of the things that we're dealing with today, we wouldn't be dealing with. But our forefathers were hard-headed, and they wanted to be like the other nations, make us a king like the other nations. We want to do this like the other nations. So here we're sitting on this line today because of our forefathers' disobedience. But those are the same people that's afflicting us today.
That's true. All right, verse 20, it says, "Ye shall eat nothing leavened in all your habitations. Ye shall eat unleavened bread." All right, verse 30, we wrapping this up. He said, "And thou shalt anoint Aaron and his sons and consecrate them that they may minister unto me in the priest's office." This is Exodus 30:30. And he says 31, "And thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel, saying, This shall be a holy anointing oil unto me throughout your generation." Watch what he says. "Upon man's flesh shall it not be poured, neither shall you make any other like it after the composition of it. It is holy, it shall be holy unto you." Watch. "Whosoever compoundeth any like it, or whosoever putteth any of it upon a stranger shall even be cut off from his people." That's what he says. "And the Most High said unto Moshe, Take unto thee sweet spices, stach, and ancha, and galbanium, these sweet spices with pure frankincense of each shall there be a like weight." He said, "And thou shalt make it a perfume, a confection after the art of the apothecary, tempered together, pure and holy." Watch. "And thou shalt beat some of it very small, and put of it before the testimony in the tabernacle of the congregation, where I will meet with you, it shall be unto you most holy. And as for the perfume, thou shalt make it, ye shall not make to yourselves. According to the composition thereof, it shall be unto thee holy for the Most High. Whosoever shall make like unto that, to smell thereto even shall be cut off from among his people." Yeah. All right, Yah speaks. This is Exodus 31:12 through 18. "And Yah spake unto the Most High, saying, to Moshe, saying, Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbaths shall ye keep. For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Most High that doeth sanctify you. Ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defile it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh it is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Most High. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death." Verse 16, "Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generation for a perpetual covenant. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. In 6 days the Most High made the heaven and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed." And he gave unto Moshe, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tablets of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of Yah. All right, Exodus 35, 1 and 3. And Moshe gathered all the congregation of the children of Israel together and said unto them, These are the words which the Most High had commanded that ye should do them. 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day there shall be unto you a holy day, a Sabbath of rest to the Most High. Whosoever doeth work therein shall be put to death. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitation upon the Sabbath day. All right, any questions with that?